Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The Money Line. We are live on a beautiful Monday night, breaking down some UFC London. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. What's up, big dog?
I'm good, man. Did you see that there's actually an MMA show outside of the UFC worth watching this year? Unbelievable job by MVP taking Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. They got Francis. They wanted to do Francis Ngannou versus the pro kickboxing champ, Rico Verhoeven. But, you know, they couldn't quite do better than Felipe Lins. At least Francis is on the card. And now Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. And it's MMA and it's 5 rounds. Nice job, MVP. Okay. Like, I'm tuning in.
I'm hype as hell for it, dude, because Nate Diaz was in talks initially to get a UFC comeback fight. I'll be damned. Like, I think the UFC would have been hyped to put together a Nate Diaz and Mike Perry fight. They're bringing Jeremy Stevens back one-off deals after he goes and fights in BKFC and running them up in fun matchups like he's fighting Bobby Green now. And he just fought Mike Perry in bare knuckle. I think you look at Nate Diaz and Mike Perry, it's kind of just the money talk situation. You know, as much as the UFC name is everything, when you're not at the point where it's all about gold and you're not just chasing the world title, and then this other option opens up that's going to give you a lot of eyes and you're going to make a lot of zeros behind the fucking number. I mean, listen, you take the deal that's right financially. I'm sure Nate Diaz was priced out. Like, the UFC deal they were willing to get him was probably not what he wanted. I'm sure that the same thing happened with X, Y, and Z, Masvidal, who was in talks to kind of come back. And I don't know, there was like rumblings of a Mike Perry return to the UFC at some point at the tear he'd been on, but I don't think it would have made much sense. I actually think it's better with MVP. Mike Perry, the king of violence in BKFC, MMA return versus Nate Diaz, 5 rounds. Who you picking right now, bro? Because my brain is saying Nate Diaz might outdog him over 5 unless he gets a stoppage. Holy shit.
He's going to hit me with the who am I picking right away. Literally the only thing I'm not ready for is who am I picking, bro? It just got announced. Let me enjoy it. I mean, early thoughts are Mike Perry's been more active. Mike Perry's been fighting without the gloves on. Now, I'm just imagining Mike Perry transitioning back to MMA. AJ, you are actually the one who got to go talk to Mike Perry in the gym and talk about punching bare knuckle with him and shit. I mean, I've seen him obsessed with the throw in the hands portion. Now he's got to start defending Nate Diaz guillotines and triangles. It really, there are a lot of intangibles. There are a lot of unknowns about the fight. I'll just say that I like that Mike Perry's been winning, whether it be against Luke Rockhold or you pick the fight, right? He's been winning at a high level, and that's a certain mentality that takes a certain physicality to it. And Nate Diaz much more, we've seen him much more seldom. And so thinking about a matchup between the two, you have to weigh those things. Yeah, it really comes down to why aren't these fights happening inside of the UFC? And I think maybe the White House card was a slight window into what's going on there. I want to see a good journalist, which I don't know if one exists in the mixed martial arts world, but a good journalist just try to get down to business with Dana White and try to figure out, is it really just that you guys have a set number with Paramount now and it's not worth it to do these super fights frequently? It's not worth it to try to fundraise and make, you know, a woman who's not going to make a title run in Gina Carano, right? Or try to get a Nate Diaz versus a Mike Perry that, yeah, is not necessarily relevant in the context of a division that's active inside the UFC. But Dana knows fans are going to watch these things, and they will.
Yeah, I wonder, right? Is the UFC now officially past that time period where they were bringing in name value fights that didn't have championship significance? I don't know. I think it's maybe this current era, but I could see a shift. I know Ronda Rousey is all over Hunter Campbell, just ripping him a new one after booking that Diaz fight. She attacked him. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just, the different front office, right, with the UFC, different people involved with the matchmaking, behind the scenes. I don't know. I wish that I had a clear picture. It seems to me that the fun fight era of yesteryear may be in the past, but that leads to a Jake Paul promotion bringing together fun matchups. And it's not like this cycle of fun fights could end. Let's say there's a Dustin Poirier no longer with the UFC or something of that magnitude fighting a Nate Diaz outside of the UFC, or there's a Jorge Masvidal versus a Mike Perry in the next show that they do. I know Netflix is not interested in having an MMA league every single event. Like,
that?
I heard about it. That's why the UFC didn't sign with them. They only wanted the big events on Netflix. So I think
that's
Netflix
news to
is
me.
looking for spectacle events. So if MVP does 2 to 4 shows a year, and I'm probably leaning towards 2, right? But maybe they do 2 big shows on Netflix a year, and you're just putting big names out and paying people big money. And then next thing you know, you're getting a shitload of eyes. It's not like direct competition to the UFC in the sense where it challenges their Saturday night UFC fight night in fucking London, right? But what it does is the big fights that maybe the UFC isn't making, and then you're seeing fun fights being made outside of the UFC. It's like, well, why are they not giving the fans? Well, why are they not paying the guys? These guys are paying the guys. And then somebody's contract ends. There's like, hey, Jake Paul reaches out with their promotion MVP. We can get you this figure. And then the UFC is eventually going to have to meet it, right? Granted, the reason the UFC is such a strong negotiating power is not letting these motherfuckers fight out of contracts. You resign when you have 2 fights left, and then you're stuck forever. Today, Alex Pereira announced he signed an 8-fight deal. Great decision for him because the UFC has done nothing but right by him. Alex Pereira, he loves the UFC. It works for him. Fine. A guy like John Jones, who doesn't feel his needs are being met, a little different. I got to read this dono off. Arf, thank you for $27.99. Back on business, Jay, in a big way. Me and the Finch man on point. I know he swept his most confident picks this past week. I went 4-1. Main event in Lock City hit. So the chimney sweeper in the house. I got the hat. He's got the fucking broom. We're making it happen, bro. Thank you, Arf.
Come on. And 4-1 the week before and 5-0 the week before. We don't fuck around on most confident. Let's go. I see what you're saying. I've seen the UFC do it historically. Historically, the UFC was like Mark Hunt versus Brock Lesnar. Here you go. You know, before the UFC was like, you guys want to see CM Punk fight? Everybody was like, no. They're like, here it is anyway, motherfuckers. I've seen the UFC go for some. The old term is freak show fights. There's such a negative connotation to it. It's just some entertainment. Can we be entertained? And that's what MVP is providing with this card. So it's a lot of fun seeing this. There's something about that Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry, 5 rounds, because it's Nate Diaz, MMA. There's just something fun about that addition to the card. I think it really turned it from just like Ronda Rousey's Gina Carano fight and Francis jumped on it to now it's an event, man. 3 marquee fights, almost like a super card if Francis had a little bit better of an opponent. Sorry to dunk on Felipe Lins, but we got to be honest here. These are big names. Now, AJ, last thing I want to say, why are they big names? The UFC.
Of course.
So they, Ronda Rousey inspired a generation of women, to try mixed martial arts and to even just try martial arts in general. She was, people shouldn't underestimate how powerful her style was. She had this incredible style where she'd go out there and get you out of there in 15 seconds. It was really, really special in the time that she was the champion. And, she helped the UFC and the UFC helped her. That's how these people got there. Francis is famous from the UFC. Nate Diaz is famous from the UFC. Mike Perry. And then they've from being relevant from the UFC, they've been able to go out and be the BKFC champion and a WWE or whatever. Right. So we still have to give credit where credit's due. This is homegrown talent from the UFC graduated on.
True. The UFC is the source of success.
Mm-hmm.
Who
else is really making them? Like, what fighter has PFL really made a superstar? What fighter has Bellator really made a superstar? The Bellator superstars are AJ McKee, Patricio Pitbull, right? Patchy
MVP,
Mix,
Venom
Jesus
Page,
Christ.
Patchy Mix.
Michael Venom Page is a good one. Venom Page is a good one. I think Michael Venom Page is pretty popular. But I mean, you know,
Yeah, no,
Ronda
it's limited.
Rousey is another level.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I'm excited to see what they put together. I think it'll be fun, man. I will be definitely tuning in. I'll be doing a dual fight companion, bro. I'm going
Good job,
double stream.
MVP. Good job.
Respect to them. Now, this past weekend, real quick shout as the Finch man left for a second.
I hit my space bar. Wow, space bar makes me leave.
I didn't even know that. Good
I'm out in space. Peace,
Finch. And this past Saturday, we just want to give a quick shout. Vieos. He looks like a future title challenger to me. Absolutely mauled Josh Emmett in a round. Josh Emmett looked terrified, dude. I've never seen Josh Emmett fight like that in his entire life. I don't know what he was doing. He was trying to circle on the outside and just maybe get lucky. I'm like, just shoot a fucking takedown. Just wrestle. Yeah. If you're that terrified of this kid's hands, just take him down or at least try to.
His jiu-jitsu is so bad.
Bro, I think it's just over with for him. I think his confidence was low. He just got subbed by Yusuf Zalal in round 1 in the fight before. He then gets finished now in round 1 here by Vieos. I think it's probably time to hang it up. I don't know if he'll stick around and do a final dance fight or something like that, and they'll drop him out of the rankings for a matchup. But this was bad. It was a rough loss, and it was an amazing performance for Vieos. But damn, man, seeing Josh Emmett mauled like that, holy shit, dude, holy shit.
Josh Emmett went out there like he was being sacrificed.
Yeah,
he went out there like the meal, you know, and he brought a weapon with him. He wanted to clock the kid, but it was like that's all he had, you know. It was very strange. So yeah, he had a very evasive game plan that just ended up in Vallejo's kind of just terminating him. So he was gonna go to Hail Mary offense on first down. It's like, bro, can we run some other plays like HB dive, right? Can we run a post first? Maybe try to. So he looked, how old is he?
41 now.
41. Okay, well, we're there.
Yeah, I think so. So that was an intense weekend. Some wild fights on the card. Overall, I thought the Vegas card was a blast. And I was grateful for the Apex. The UFC Apex cards have been slapping as of late.
Delgado almost lost, bro. Almost. Most. You're a big Delgado fan. And people, motherfuckers be doubting Feely, okay? And what was the other one? Feely, and then there was another one that was really close. Oh, fuck, what was it?
Your boy Petrino getting dropped round 1. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Everybody in AJ's chat, look how tired Petrino is. Motherfuckers, look how tired Asplund is. Asplund was bleeding like a stuffed pig. Yeah. He was gasping for air. That was a sick fight between those two. That was, I mean, yeah, big respect to both of those boys for putting that on. Asplund wasn't pressuring him, AJ.
I know.
He's just letting him skirt the cage. It's like he doesn't have enough confidence in his hands and his timing to be able to actually press him, because that would have made a huge difference. And then I think I might even texted you or messaged maybe in the chat. He was walking around. He's taking a stroll like he's at the mall. You can't just walk around and be an elite, mixed martial arts fighter. Bend your knees, get on the balls of your feet, and stalk this guy. I feel like, he wasn't that far away from being able to knock Petrino out.
I know. Close, but no cigar. Johnson and Bruno Silva was back and forth. That was a split decision. I thought Johnson did enough, but tested for sure. And then Hardwick and fucking Rahiki delivered a banger. Jaw broken and all. Shit's going to be wired shut 6 weeks, I saw today.
Absolutely nasty. Manuel Souza and Balaji Oki kind of went to war,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun. Manuel Souza knocks him the fuck out in the third round. That betting girl on the UFC channel, she's like, most 50% of UFC fighters making their debut lose or whatever. So I'm gonna go with like, okay, good tape study on that one. Like just literally just statistically rolling the dice here. Bellagioki put away. Pretty impressive KO by Manuel Souza, who did weather some storm. Bia Mesquita is real. I shouldn't have doubted her. So she goes out there. Rendon just starts doing some of this in the air. It's just in the air. Just hey, back up, bitch. And Bia waits. Bang! One time, Rendon's wobbly. I'm like, yeah, it's a wrap. Pack it up.
It's all right. Yo, Bia Mosquito's game, yo. I think she's ready for top 15 right now. Give her Misha Tate or something like that. Let's just run it right away.
Yeah.
Let's not waste time.
She looks like the truth. I liked how she was patient and then pounced. It's like a beautiful performance. Luan Lacerda stole that first round, but Hetra Souza ends up getting to him. Nice fight between Eric Anders and Brad Tavares, despite them both being almost 40. I don't know. It was a good card. Oral by beating the brakes off of how many takedowns? Holy
19, 2 away from the record.
Bro. And why, AJ? Tie up those legs. Why you keep letting this guy back up? He takes him down. Him and Raul Rosas Jr. need to go to Dagestan 2 years and forget. They take these guys down. They do all the hard work. These guys have their legs just straight on the fucking mat, just laying there on the fucking mat. Wrap those things up, like triangle over those legs and beat the shit out of these guys on the fence. There's no reason to let them up, bring them down. 19 takedowns. It sounds great. It actually is a problem. It's like, dude, you should need 1 or 2 around and control them.
Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right. Too many get-ups, man. You're right. But it was good shit. We're going to get into this week's card. Enough about last week. It's time to talk some London. We're across the pond. Make sure you guys smash the likes and subscribe it up. We got fight number 1. The ladies going after it. Melissa Mullins versus Luana Carolina. I mean,
lock of the night.
Fight of that. Listen, it comes down to a simple element of the fight. If Mullins can hit some takedowns, she can win this fight. If Luana Carolina can stop some takedowns, she can win this fight. I really think that is the name of this game. Mullins is going to be pressuring forward and trying to get her down. And if she gets her down, she's better at grappling. And she hits a lot of takedowns. Luana Carolina is faster on the feet and a better striker. She's herky-jerky and awkward, but she lands a lot. I'm going to go Mullins. I think she'll find a way to get this fight to the ground and secure a position. We're in the UK. I feel like she should be able to get on top. She seems to have a good chin, Melissa Mullins. Where you tend to hurt her is the body, but she can eat some shots to the head. And I think that Carolina lacks the power to really keep Mullins off of her. So then the takedown defense better be sharp. And I got some doubts about it. Yeah, I'm going to go Mullins, Finch, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Mullins too. You know, you're saying she needs the takedowns. Like I get where you're coming from, and that could definitely be true. But honestly, I see a lot of her just like clinching against the fence. Like Carolina, not the best at getting her back off the fence, just kind of sits there in those defensive positions. And while I'm watching Mullins, she likes to jack up underhooks, throw little punches, knee the legs. I could see her soaking up a lot of that clock on the fence. Go for a takedown. Make Carolina defend the takedown, pummel an underhook, knee her in the thighs a little bit. You know, this might not be the most exciting fight ever, but maybe Mullins just grinds her into that fence like cheese through a cheese grater, and I think that she can get a decision. You know, Luana Carolina, not the most dangerous. You know, I would like to see her get a little vicious in there, and if you're not vicious, it's going to be hard to keep Mullins away from you. She's kind of a magnet. She's just going to keep like getting pulled into the gravity of that clinch. And if Carolina spends as much time as I think she will there, she'll lose the decision.
They're saying I'm trying to sacrifice Misha Tate for saying that Bia Mosquito should fight her. But hey, somebody's got to fight her. I mean, listen, I think it's fair. Yeah,
he gonna pick on the 42-year-old Misha Tate. That's crazy work. Crazy work. Hey, I'd rather see Ronda Rousey and her. You fucking storm Ronda's judo like that. But you know what? Bia might have some hands. I don't know. She didn't look like she had hands outside of the UFC. They're looking better.
American top team, bro. American top team. Yeah, she looks good. We're going Mullins here. The odds for Mullins, plus 100 as a dog, minus 120 for Carolina. I think Mullins is probably winning the battle of position. Is it the takedown for sure? Like Finch said, it doesn't necessarily need to be. It can be clinch work. It can be pressure against the cage. And I know a lot of people are talking about Mullins. You know, the body is the weakness. I get it. She's been hurt to the body before. But Nora Cornell actually has some devastating power. And, you know, there's consequence with the Muay Thai style. And then Daria Zelenchniakova is actually like a pretty tactical kickboxer. And still Mullins was close in that fight. And it was a rematch. She beat her the first time after getting hurt. You look at the game of Carolina and come on, man. She's a former women's flyweight. Her wins at 135, I don't think exist. What win does she have at 135? You know, she went on a tear at 25. They're smaller. And I think the strength of Mullins, she's going to be able to probably get a hold of her and get on top of her. And I'll rate the grappling as good enough to pull through. I just don't trust in Karolina to get like a stoppage or something like that. And she's going to need to make Mullins pay a lot. And I just think Mullins is also not like terribly outgunned on the feet. I know Mullins is not as good as Karolina at striking, but it's not like Karolina is just, a slick maestro. She's just kind of reactive and fast. And Mullins could clobber her with a couple shots into the clinch, So I'll favor Mullins.
I'm actually interested to see the reach is only 1 inch difference, 5'7" to 5'7". Okay. I don't know why I thought Karolina was taller.
She looks taller because down in weight, she was looking a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Some of these smaller girls, but at 35, I don't know. I think she's maybe a little bit outmuscled.
Yeah, my confidence has only grown in Mullins. Yeah, I don't think she's championship material, but she should probably decision Karolina.
Yeah, let's go. Mullins for the decision. The line on that, just from any wondering, is going to be sitting at plus 150. Let's keep running. Ladies going after it again. They're giving us back-to-back ladies fights. They're getting them in quick. Shanelle Dyer versus Ravenna Oliveira. I got to go with the prospect Shanelle Dyer to win. I think her speed is a big difference maker, but I am picking a girl who's coming off a Contender Series loss against a girl who's 0-2 in the UFC. I think Dyer's a lot faster. Wasn't blown away with the technicality on the Contender Series, but what I saw is like raw talent and potential. She reminded me of like a young Angela Hill with the speed. And I'm like, like Dyer's 23, 24. I think she's able to outstrike Oliveira. Oliveira's 0-2 in the octagon. She lost to Lisboa up at 35 by decision. And then last fight subbed up by Luciano, who, is much more of a striker than anything else. And she was outstruck too, to be fair, in that fight. I think Dyer should win, but like the betting lines for this fight are kind of fucking insane. She's like a Bia Mesquita level of favorite at this point. And she's coming off a loss on Contender Series, right? Wow. I think she looks reactive. She looks fast. She looks explosive. She has dangerous kicks. Like there's a lot to like, but she doesn't have a lot of pro experience, right? 6-1. Not like Oliveira's way more experience, but she got 2 UFC fights.
Yeah.
I'll pick Dyer. It's just the odds really freaked me out on this one a bit. Like, they're really thinking she's on her way to doing some magic inside of the UFC.
Right.
I don't know. Right.
She's jacked. She looks the part. Her fight on Contender Series was a pretty good fight. Yeah, I watched her PFL fights actually just before we went on because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do here. I do think the physicality of Dyer could get her the W, but she doesn't. She still kind of punches like a girl. Like the way she's built, you would just expect a little bit more pop, but she does have speed. She should be able to have a good takedown defense here against Oliveira. Oliveira ends up on top of her. It's a big problem. I was watching some of Oliveira's other fights, trying to figure out if her wrestling is good enough. Probably not. So she probably is at a slight disadvantage on the feet. Won't be able to out grapple a big and strong and athletic Dyer. It probably could be close though. I think betting on this would be silly.
At minus 450 favorite status, Shanelle Dyer, especially, you're thinking she's probably getting it on the scorecards. I'm not crazy about that. I think like Shanelle Dyer, low key, the reason she has a lot of hype is that head kick KO 3 fights ago that she got. But, the fight after that, she won a close decision. Then she lost on Contender Series. So I don't know, man. Like she seems to have some upside, and I do think she wins the fight. But as far as like the gambling side of it, like minus 450, you can't do shit. And then I'm like, oh, do I flip the fucking coin and chance it on Oliveira? No. Is there any prop that stands out? I don't think so. I mean, we might go over 2.5, but could Dyer pull off another head kick? Maybe a big punch lands. I don't know. Kind of just seems
Oliveira's
like
not that sloppy. Oliveira's not that sloppy. I don't see a head kick here.
You like Dyer by decision more than anything else?
Yeah, I guess so. Most ladies' fights go long. So let's say this follows the trend because Oliveira should be a little bit game. I mean, I like the UFC experience. I think it does matter. PFL does probably make you nervous too, but ain't nothing like the UFC.
Yeah. We're going Dyer nonetheless. The pick is
I don't know if we're going for those odds, but we're going Dyer.
No, we're not going for the odds. We're just going the pick. So Dyer should win. The odds suck. The decision prop sucks. There's really not all that much you can do. Over 2.5 is a possibility, but I mean, even that, It's just, what are you going to chase? You want to try and find magic? Dyer by sub plus 800. She's got 0 wins by submission. She's never subbed anybody. I don't think she's getting a sub here. She's probably pulling off a decision. So there we go.
Yeah, let's say long.
Yeah. Next fight on the card, we got Shem versus Al-Selwady. This is a fun matchup, actually.
It was another hard one for me, dog.
I know. Abdul Karim Al-Selwady came into the UFC with some hype. He had beaten George Hardwick, who at the time was, a well-respected rising prospect, right? And then you look at the debut, 2 years out. He fights in a good one with Loic Rajabov. People forget he won the second round there, but he got fucking knocked out violently with an overhand. He's been knocked out 4 times of his 4 losses. So, a little bit of worries about maybe the durability, but then you give him Shamrock on the other side, who's not heavy-handed. Can I just be honest? He's a little bit on the feather-fisted side. He's got speed, though. He's deceptively fast. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's got long legs. His body kicks are nice. I think Shamrock is better at grappling than Al-Selwady, but I think Al-Selwady's better at wrestling than him. So it really comes down to how do they tangle when it gets in close range. And I'll be honest, I was flipping and flopping, but I said to myself, okay, Shamrock in the debut, they gave him a beast in Narulo Aliev, a real strong prospect. I rate him higher than Al-Selwady, and he was able to go the distance, and he did find a little success in round 3, but for the most part, dominated. If he can defend some takedowns, create a little space with striking, maybe clinch up, look to take the back against the cage, or even hit a trip on Al-Selwady, which I don't think is unfathomable. Like, it's not the craziest thing ever. I think Shamrock could end up winning. I think it's going to be a decision probably, but at some point I could see him taking Al-Selwady's back. I don't like the layoff for Al-Selwady.
Neither do
He's
I.
also had some canceled fights, right? He was supposed to fight Camilo. Al-Selwady withdrew from that fight. He was supposed to fight Garam Kutateladze back in 2024. He pulled out of that fight. So a lot of inconsistencies at getting into the octagon. I don't love layoffs, and then I especially don't love injuries. And I got Shamrock coming off of a recent performance where, yes, he clearly lost, but he's active. He's in shape, took it on short notice and put a gutsy effort out there. I'll say Shamrock can find a way to win and maybe even take the back of Al-Selwady at one point. And as much as I don't rate Shamrock as heavy-handed, maybe he lands a big punch and Al-Selwady's chin gets put to the test again. So I'll go Shamrock.
It's a good fight. It's definitely on Shamrock's home turf, which has got to be nice, but I'm going with the pride of Palestine. I think Al-Selwady's pretty good. I was watching that Loic Radzhabov and Al-Selwady fight back today, and I'm looking at Al-Selwady while he's going through the wrestling grind, right? He gets taken down. He pops back up to his feet, gets his own takedown, gets in the mix a little bit, gets his own exchanges off. And then I'm doing my Shamrock tape. And what did he do in his last fight, AJ? Back the fuck up, dude. Put the car in reverse and just kept backing up. And I not like Al-Selwady always moves forward, but he definitely knows how to. He definitely knows how to bend his knees and get low and get inside and whip some shots over the top and mix up the wrestling and the boxing. I think it's going to take a great performance by Rock. Now, with that being said, AJ puts a great point out there that's hard to contend with, and that's this. Shamrock has been active. Al-Selwady hasn't fought in 2 years. So that fucks everything up. I think the odds are this way because of that fact. You could be concerned about the chin, but honestly, in rewatching that fight, bro, he was taking shots, giving shots, getting takedowns, winning when they were both tired as the fight was dragging on. I feel like he actually showed a lot in that fight, even maybe, dare I say, a little bit of durability. So I'm going to, if I have to guess, I'm going to guess that he's going to come in shape. I'm going to guess that the chin's going to be there. I'm going to guess he's going to see the forward pressure as the key to victory. I think he's going to win the wrestling exchanges and that he'll get this thing on enemy territory. But you got to admit, when somebody hasn't fought in 2 years, you're gambling.
That's the biggest thing, is the ring rust element. If Al-Selwady had fought 6 months ago, we saw maybe even a tune-up fight in between. He beat somebody. I don't know what to expect, really, with the long layoff, with injuries. With Shamrock, I know that I wasn't blown away, not from tape and not from his most recent fight, watching it live either.
Dude, he's got the overhook, that little whizzer he hits on people, bro. I was watching his old shit going, okay. And you could see him in the last fight looking for it. Why do I keep forgetting his opponent's last fucking name? What was the
You
last?
talking about Nurulo Aliyev, the fucking Habib
Nurulo
clone.
Aliyev. He's locked up with him, and you saw he was looking for that fucking overhook. He was wrestling with Bear, brother.
Wrestling Bear, brother. You wrestle Bear. Maybe he pulls this one out. We shall see, brother. Odds for the fight, though. If you like Al-Selwady, you got -125. If you like Shamrock, you got +105. So coin flipping odds for this matchup. Close money. Close money. It's a battle of really, I think, who gets top position. We'll find out.
I like it. I like the fight. You know, Rock being on home territory, you got to factor that in. It's going to be a fucking fight.
Let's go. It'll be close. I think coin flip fight, but I'll go Shamrock. Finch going Al-Selwady. So somebody's right. I mean, if you look so far, we're on point here. I think we're going to be at 100% because the Moneyline show's got it right, even on a competitive one like this, you know?
Come on, man. Absolutely. It's going to be, at least the people have some fun because Al-Selwady ain't going to let Rock off the hook. He ain't going to stand there at distance. And look, you know, if Rock had more power, dude, I would go with him. If he hit like a rock, I would go with him. Unfortunately,
it's like a fucking paddle. Yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, W to the Finch. He's going Al-Selwady. I'll go Shamrock. Let's keep running because we got actually a pretty sick heavyweight fight. We got Louis Sutherland versus Brando Peričić. Somebody's getting knocked the fuck out. Okay. I don't think this thing is going long. I'll be shocked if it goes distance. I'm going with heavy hands Peričić. I love that he trains at City Kickboxing. I love that Israel Adesanya and Carlos Ulberg are main training partners for him. Very young, right? 5-1. So as far as MMA career goes, really blossoming and probably growing at a quick rate. Has the rugby background. I know Paku from chat knows him in real life, right? And they did rugby together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I look at Sutherland and I'm like, okay, he needs to create chaos here. But the problem is, if Peričić is in chaos, he could swing his bomb and put out Louis Sutherland too. And then I look at technicality. I think Peričić is the sharper boxer. I think Peričić with that city kickboxing stance, more technical. Sutherland, you said this about Aswell, he doesn't really have a set. I don't really feel like Sutherland does. He's kind of coming in, squaring up, and he's loading up on bombs, and he's ripping heavy low kicks, and everything he's throwing is to try and knock you out. I feel like Peričić is going to be able to find that chin. I think he's going to be faster, and I think he'll be accurate to the target with a big punch. I feel like Sutherland's going to end up getting shut off. We also saw him like outside of the UFC, and then we saw him with the weigh-in against Walter Walker. And let's say the traps have deflated a bit. He doesn't look nearly as menacing as we saw.
What are you trying to say, bro? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that it was a tough training camp, you know? Listen, I think Brando Peričić has got some serious power, and I like that city kickboxing is behind him. I like the length. I like the knockout ability, and I think he's just technically more of a quality boxer than the side of Sutherland. But Sutherland cracks, so somebody's going to bed. I'm going to say Peričić puts Sutherland out. What do you think?
Sutherland's like waking up a Yeti. Sutherland's coming at you to destroy. He's a villain in Hercules. He's one of those rock creatures that Hades summons that just comes out there and bashes you. You know, he's good when he's beating up bums. Like if you look at his fights outside of the UFC, it's like, ooh, this guy stalks people down. He's got a double leg. He's got big shots he could throw. This will be a problem. I think the best thing Peričić is actually not much. I think what he should do is just get on his bicycle. Just try to jab this guy. Make this guy just get through the first round and make this grizzly bear keep falling in the trap of walking towards you. You know, it's similar to Titties on Saturday. Asplund, when you're walking somebody down, you want to cut them off, right? And I think Sutherland can get caught into the trap of walking towards Peričić, and Peričić knows how to move side to side, so that lateral movement should really help him here. Big cage,
my boy,
very helpful for Peričić knockout.
Let's go. I like Peričić. I know Paku does too. Brando fight week, very nervous. Hey, thank you for the 2, Paku. W to you, boy. I think he's pulling out. So does the Finch, man. We see
Paku. Come on, Paku. All right. See how I feel? Okay. Knowing people in MMA, you want to root for him, right? Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go. I think he's got it. I think your boy's got it.
Hey, he said, watch the club and sub here. I'm not going heavy on KO because he's been working on his grappling. Could grab a neck. Interesting take.
Neck, bro? Do you see the neck? Sutherland, dog? What neck, homie?
That's funny as hell. Listen, there is one sub loss for Peričić, or excuse me, not for Peričić, for Sutherland, his last fight, and there's one sub win for Peričić. So
yeah, is Peričić going to jump a heel hook, Paku? Tell me so I'll fade him right now.
Probably not. Probably not. As far as the odds for the fight, Peričić obviously sitting at some favorite status, minus 270 for heavy hands. Big boy Sutherland plus 230. You know what I'll say? Whatever happens, neither of these guys should get cut from the UFC after. I want to see more. I want to see more, man. Like, I think the loser could fight Asplund. The winner could fight fucking Petrino. The winner could fight Asplund. Like this.
Bro,
this
the heavyweight division is so deep. I don't see what you mean. Why would we keep this type of talent around in the deepest division the sport's ever seen? I don't understand what you're saying.
I know. Like, how many heavyweights are even signed to the UFC right now? 34 heavyweights on the roster, dude. Holy shit.
Crazy. It's
36.
Yo, if calling all big boys from other sports, fuck rugby, okay? Forget playing on the Chicago Bears as a tackle. No, come over to mixed martial arts, okay? Come over to the UFC. Mayhem Miller's got one right now. He's working on with Elian Dow. He took this freaking building of a man, and he's like, all right, we're gonna make a champ here. You know,
Elian Dow.
Yeah, he's working on him right now. This what 6'7", I don't know, kickboxer from France. He's just he took this guy out of the lab. And you know, they're trying to teach him how to grapple and, you know, make him a mixed martial arts fighter. Yeah, the UFC could use you guys. Come on,
let's go. As far as the knockout prop for the fight, Peričić by KO sits at plus 150. The Paku talk of sub is plus 240. So then you got inside distance for Peričić at minus 210. Let's see, under 2.5 rounds is minus 900. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. Maybe that's overplayed. I'm seeing minus 6 for fight ends inside distance. So that might be a little bit of an inflated tag. Then you look towards the under a round and a half, sitting at minus 140. So the fight is expected to end rather quickly. Maybe you go over.
Yeah, because there's a thing that happens sometimes with the big boys where they throw their best weapons at each other. They get into that level of fatigue. It starts to set in, and they make a conscious choice. Like, I'm not going to die tonight. You know, I'm going to figure out how to make this gas get me all the way to the finish line. And when they make that decision, you could start, you know, sometimes you could expose these. I got, what was it? Plus 800. I'm trying to remember the line it was for Rosenstruik going decision with Tai Tuivasa. Yeah. I'm like, oh, the best thing Rosenstruik could do is just touch him up from distance. Same thing here. Like, the best thing Peričić could do is just dip his toe in the water and get out of the way of this fucking bear.
Hey, listen, if you like the Peričić decision line, you thinking it's going fucking distance? What do we got for us here? Peričić decision plus 550. Not as good as Rosenstruik, but there you go.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Hey, there we go. Finch and I both going Peričić. We both do think he'll shut the lights off. Next fight of the card, Montas Kondratavičius versus Trócoli. Listen, man, if
Trócoli,
Trócoli, bro. Get some fucking broccoli, son. Listen, Kondratavičius should knock him out, but he might strangle him. I mean, Trócoli gets caught in a lot of gillies. I'm going Kondratavičius. I think it's going to be a powerful debut. He's got a lot of punching power. Trócoli's striking is not very good. Submissions are what he's known for, but he's been subbed in his past 2 fights. I think Kondratavičius should absolutely handle him and pull this one off. Trócoli is not necessarily UFC level, whereas Kondratavičius is pretty sick prospect. I mean, the knockout against Danny Babir on Contender Series this past season was fucking sick. And Babir came into that fight with some height, man. Like, he was a well-respected prospect on the rise as well and was undefeated coming into it. So I think that we see the Kondratavičius side look vicious, to be corny, and absolutely just fucking bust a hole in Trócoli. He should knock him out. He could win by a gilly, though. It's not crazy, but he should knock him out.
Bust a hole in Trócoli is crazy. Yeah, why not? He busts a hole in Trócoli. I think so. The striking is much better. Trócoli just awkward with it, like a little bit of game in the clinch, but just it's like an incomplete painting, you know. I saw him out here on the beach with Mackenzie Dern. What was that, 2 summers ago? You know, I'm like, who the fuck is this Brazilian tower she's with? You know. And we're still wondering who the fuck this guy. Who the fuck is that guy? You know, he's not UFC caliber, and I think it's going to show here. I think he's getting KO'd. That chin is kind of available. Like, he doesn't really use his reach all that well. I feel like I'm going to fuck this last name up. Kondratavičius. Vicious is kind of dope. I think Vicious could get Vicious in there just like he did at Dana White's Contender Series. And you're right. He fought a real fucking guy. So this is like easier. Yeah, KO. I think Trócoli's cooked.
Trash can parlay, leg one, you think?
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Leg one. We're on leg 3. What the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, I hear you. He might be on a trash can parlay. That could happen.
The win for Kondratavičius, -700. So very wide odds for the prospect. For him to go out and get it done by knockout sits at -190. You'll find some money if you're willing to go Kondratavičius by sub. It's +350. He does have 2 wins by submission as a professional. So not an impossibility, but yeah, his style is knockout. You're not getting much for ITD though. They got you at -475. Do you think Kondratavičius finishes this fight in the first round?
Yes.
+105 round 1. Kondratavičius.
Not sweet enough.
Quick and easy. No, I know it's not. I know it's not. Yeah.
Because he's over there in the UK, and he's got this big cage and this big boy who's got UFC experience. Who knows when it ends? But yeah, I'm pretty confident in him. Straight money line.
I think so too, but 7-1 odds.
Oh my God. Jesus. 7-1.
Bro, there's not. It's not much you can do. That's why I said trash can parlay. We're looking at. You're gonna have to run 2 legs.
I didn't realize it was that. That's a dumpster, buddy. That's you put the trash can into this thing. This is fucking. So for those of you that don't know, on Free Channel, I gave not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 legs on a parlay that hit 2 weeks ago. Now it was called the trash can parlay because I just faded the bums that the UFC was cleaning up. You got, as AJ identified, you got to put Trócoli on that list.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's got to be a trash can parlay this week, and Trócoli's on the list, man. We're going Kondratavičius prospect to get him out of there. We'll go knockout probably in the first round, and yeah, it should be domination.
I feel like we could drop the trash can parlay for the people at the end of this. So
I think we should.
There's leg 1.
Yeah, there's leg 1, trash can parlay, Kondratavičius. Let's get to the next fight. We got Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. Yes, the same guy in Felipe Franco that lost to the short notice Freddie Vidal on Contender Series. What the fuck are we talking about, bro? I'm going Pinto. What the hell is going on? I think Mario Pinto is a legitimate prospect at heavyweight. He was supposed to fight Mick Parkin to break into the top 15, and now they give him Felipe Franco, who, yeah, he's won 2 fights, which I respect since that Contender Series loss. He's been active, but, you know, look with your magnifying glass. 10-7 and 1-1. So, you know, he's beat 2 relative cans, to put it nicely. Yeah. Granted, the 10-7 guy was somehow on like a fucking win streak and a half. So I guess you got to give some respect to him, but irrelevant. I think that you look at the MMA level of Mario Pinto, you're talking about a talented stand-up fighter that showcased grappling against a good kickboxer in Joanna Diniz. So like a well-rounded MMA game. Pinto, he knows how to win MMA fights, and he's not afraid to mix it up, which I really enjoyed seeing his Diniz performance. I picked him there, and I know some people were thinking Diniz might get to him, but I'm like, I just trust in Pinto to be smarter. He seems to have a good fight IQ. He's gone distance before, and he's looked technical. He has knockout power. He's, you know, overcome some adversity. He got caught big early against Austin Lane in their fight. I think that Mario Pinto should be able to win relatively easily. Like, I think Franco, his striking's going to probably get exposed. Another thing about Franco is he is not actually a heavyweight. He fights at light heavyweight. He's taking this fight on short notice. He's 6'1", and he's moving up to the heavyweight division, so he's not cutting weight. I think that Pinto is going to be stinging him with good shots. I think he'll look pretty tactical and clean. And I anticipate a counter shot KO within the first 7 minutes. And I'm going to go Mario Pinto by knockout. I think, under a round and a half makes sense for Pinto. I think he'll figure out Franco pretty quickly. What do you think, Finch?
Mario Pinto's fought real guys. Mario Pinto's fought real competition. This guy Franco's a can crusher, and I'm looking at some of the cans. I mean, this guy's got me on fucking YouTube looking at him double leg, as they used to say in the old boxing days, taxi cab drivers. Yeah. He's double legging the fucking line cook over at IHOP, Right. And I'm looking at the technique, and I don't like it. He's lifting people up where he doesn't need to lift, and he doesn't get a slam out of it. Even the way he's like mounting people, there's a lot of space when he's throwing his knee over. You could just see that these are like showcase fights for this guy who looks the part. I mean, he looks the part, right? He is heavily muscled. He has a little bit of speed and athleticism on his feet, actually, but his thing is supposed to be his wrestling. And when I see him get to wrestling, I am not impressed by our performance as to where with Pinto is special. His hands are special. Is there a threat that Franco gets a hold of him and drags him onto the ground? I mean, I guess so, right? That's the whole point of them fighting this thing out. But I feel like you got to go with the guy who's beaten real competition, the guy who actually has some talent in his hands at a real level here, as to where I don't see a single skill that Franco has that jumps out to me as elite. He just looks the part. I don't think that'll be enough against a Pinto who's a seriously good striker.
Pinto minus 900 as the favorite. Trash can parlay leg 2 is what we're looking at.
Whoa, brother. Minus 900?
It's 900, my boy.
Wow.
I know.
Whoa.
I know.
I mean, just on paper, just listen to this thing, right? You got 10-1, okay? 10-1 versus 11-0. 10-1 versus 11-0, minus 900 one side. You just think that's mispriced, but it's true. It's true. Look at the Uber drivers. He's been TKOing. It's bad.
Yeah, no, it's a complete mismatch. And I think Pinto knocks him out. The knockout is minus 175, which I don't hate that. And I think Pinto should stop him within the first 2 rounds and look sharp out there.
Just get his timing down, let his hands go. I like that they're in the big cage. Pinto can move a little bit on this dude. Yeah, Pinto's putting this guy out. Fair enough.
Looking towards Pinto wins. Round 2 plus 275. Round 1 plus 125. Don't love it. I don't know, man. I think Pinto knockout minus 175. I think he should get a KO. I mean, like a sub at plus 350. Yeah, he's got 1 sub win, but I think Franco's going to get lit up on the feet. He's going to look slow, and Pinto's sharp, man. And I think Franco's going to break to some power. Like inside distance is great and all, but again, it's minus 450 for inside distance. And I do think Pinto finishes him. It's just, the line is not awesome.
Yeah, this is too lined up for Pinto. Pinto coming off of a nice little streak here against Gennady Deniz, Austin Lane, who's on the card, by the way. His Contender Series knockout. He's on fire. The Gennady Deniz performance was sick. He showed some grappling. I don't see why he wouldn't finish him, dude. I think you're right.
So Pinto, leg 2 of the trash can parlay should hit. And we should handle Franco in this one. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. This is a close fight. Nathaniel Wood versus Losene Keita is pretty fucking wild. Keita was supposed to fight against Patricio Pitbull. Didn't make the weight. Came in at 149. That was on the Paris card. And
begged him to take it. He's
begged
like,
him. He's like, no.
Bro, this is my career. Patricio's like, you should have thought of that before you showed up this fucking heavy. What are you talking about? It's your
He's
career.
way off. And the other thing about Keita,
right? You know what I mean? Fuck you, kid.
About Keita, he hasn't made this weight class in over 2 years. He's been at 155. So.
I know. It's you with your goddamn details fucking making this shit hard for me again, dude. I think Keita's gonna knock him out. I think Wood is not that explosive. If you look at Keita, he's got this patient, and then he's just a tiger, and he just takes you out. And Wood shouldn't be able to take him down. I'm like, fuck, I think Keita's gonna knock him out. But you're right. I did watch that part. I don't know who your main event pick is yet, so that'll be fun. But I did know your pick here, and I heard your take. And you're right. I gotta wait till weigh-ins. This guy just missed weight trying to make this weight fucking a few months ago. So yeah, no way you could bet on him until you see that he's healthy. He made weight. Yeah. Who knows what he looks like after making that weight?
I'm thinking he might end up on point and make this weight here. But with an explosive, dangerous athlete like Keita, and now he's cutting to a weight class that he hasn't been in a long time. We've seen it before, man. Guys with great abilities, they end up fighting in the wrong weight class. Round 2 comes around. He's not the same animal. A good shot to the chin. He can't take that same level of punch. Nathaniel Wood has been here. He's 10-3 in the UFC. He's a consistent performer. Say what you want about him getting dropped against Delgado. It was a big back fist. Like, it was a nice shot, and he went down. And, you know, he lost round 1. Turned up in round 2, competitive throughout the round 3. It was a back and forth war. And I know we're kind of quick to doubt Delgado because of how close he was with Feli. But I think Nathaniel Wood is crafty. That's the thing about Nathaniel Wood. He's defensively sound normally, right? If it is full power onslaught Keita, the weight cut doesn't bother him. What I see is danger in the hands. You know, the explosive blitz, the big left hook to the body and head. I could see Nathaniel Wood hurt for sure. But if it's a little bit more of a, you know, a toll on him with this weight cut, he can't be as early and explosive, you know? And then I think the technicality of Wood, attacking some leg kicks, finding some shots through the guard, maybe landing a couple takedowns. Nathaniel Wood, I'd say, is an underrated wrestler. I feel like Wood can outwork him over 3 rounds and end up getting this decision. I am definitely understanding of the Keita side. He's fucking scary. If it was at 155, I'm like, I got to trust in Keita's power. But I don't know. This guy can't make the fucking weight. Is this fight going to happen?
That's what matters.
I don't know.
I have to see him on the scale.
I think so. I think it's one of those fights where you definitely got to wait to see how Keita's weigh-in looks. He is young at 28. So, you know, if the diet is on check, the weight cutting issues could potentially be a non-factor. Definitely explosive ability. Definitely a prospect that has a lot of upside right now. Nathaniel Wood, crafty OG. I'll lean the crafty OG to take it in competitive fashion and survive some early scares, because the truth is, round 1, Keita's explosiveness is terrifying. And you might be thinking, oh, but Keita's gone longer before. Yes, but at 145, I don't know how that gas tank looks with a well-versed veteran like Nathaniel Wood that's been there time and time again in the UFC. And he's fighting at home, too. It's another element of the fight. So,
and he's the UFC veteran, you know?
Long-time vet, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a little streak going, you know. Jose Delgado is a big one. Morgan Charrier is a big one. So, no, you're right. This is a great fucking fight. I really got to see weigh-ins and see what this kid looks like. Losene Keita, to me, looks like somebody you would want to take down. Like, if I was going to design a fighter to beat Losene Keita, they would have, you know, really, really solid wrestling and control. And that's not Nathaniel Wood. You know, Nathaniel Wood is going to probably fight this guy where he's best, which is going to be in the striking. And he could win. You know, he's got UFC experience. He's got good cardio. He's fought, you know, Morgan Charrier's a strong, explosive motherfucker too. So, and he's on home turf. It's going to be a really good fight. There's something special about Losene Keita striking, his timing, his ability to pounce on people, his dance between patience and then an explosive combo. But it's his first UFC fight. So I totally understand the Nathaniel Wood pick. Is the line even?
The line is not even. Keita is a -220 favorite. Wood at +185.
Wow.
So Keita getting some respect. And I see why.
Too much
force, but it is too much. And I'll say this about Nathaniel Wood. Now, I'm not 100% like precise on this. This is a slight overreach. But Charles Jourdain was real explosive and dangerous with striking. We saw Wood hit 5 takedowns on him. So like, if Keita has a true flaw in his wrestling, and I think Nathaniel Wood could be smart enough to hit some key takedowns and control him a bit. That's the only thing. It's a tough one. I think he can hit a couple, but I definitely think Keita's explosive as fuck. And that type of explosiveness normally equals takedown defense. Like, they do coincide. So we're relying on the weight cut a little bit. I recognize here that I am kind of relying on Keita having a hard time making a weight class that he doesn't fight at normally anymore.
No, all good reads, and I love your emphasis on the weight cut, because it's so true, dude. You can't have a guy missing weight and then coming back at this low weight class that he's not used to fighting at. So a lot of question marks, and that line's wider than I thought you were about to tell me, bro. I usually wait till I bet till after the show, unless there's specific fights I want to bet on. What the fuck?
I know. Why? No love for Nathaniel Wood, man. I feel like this is a lot closer than the odds have it. Yeah,
Very
dude.
close.
Should be good.
I'm on the other side of the fence,
Respect.
but I see why you're over there, AJ.
Respect.
Interesting.
Bro. Let's go. Next fight on the card, we have Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. I think Mason Jones, experience at a high level and experience in the big moments, should allow him to deal with Sola's deceptively quick striking from range and karate style, and then win in the close range with dirty boxing and wrestling. I said in my video breaking this down, the key for Jones is to turn this into more of a dirty fight. If he allows Sola to manage distance and dictate the pace of the fight, and even potentially press him backwards and tie up, because Sola, I'd say, is deceptively strong, I think that Mason Jones could get outworked. But the thing I like about Mason Jones is he's like a fucking berserker type. Like, he's walking forward. You're hitting him with bombs. He might go down. He's going to get back up. Mason Jones loves to slug it out on the feet, but he's going to take you down when you give him that chance. He just likes to sit on some shots. Like, he enjoys punching people in the face. But what you notice about Mason Jones is guys will become overzealous, right? Oh, they're cracking him. Balagioki. And then the thought of the grappling goes away, and then he takes you down and he controls you, like he did with Jeremy Stevens. He was dealing with some big shots, in the mid portion of that fight, but then secured control, grinded out a win. I think Axel Sola is talented. I just don't know the level for sure. Whereas I'm like, I think Mason Jones has real good ground skills. I think Mason Jones has a good chin. I think Mason Jones is in real good shape, and I think he's a strong grappler. So I'm going to say Mason Jones is able to walk through some of the heavy shots from Sola, and I think he's able to deal with the karate style, close distance, make it a brawl, make it dirty, make it a bit of a grind, and put a pace on him and out-grapple him. And potentially, I could see Mason Jones showcasing some big ground and pound into even a submission here against Axel Sola. Sola's only UFC win is Reese McKee up in weight, but Reese McKee is not one of the top caliber talents. He's fighting a real solid prospect in Mason Jones here. So I'm going with Jones.
Yeah, Jones looked impressive to me against Jeremy Stevens, against Balagioki. I do think that he's going to be a better mixed martial artist in this fight. And you're right, he's got some fucking grit to him, dude. He starts bleeding out of his nose and he gets a little bit better. He digs in a little more. And I feel like we're seeing a resurgence of him in these last couple fights. You're starting to like, from that Ludovic Klein fight, he sort of has reinvented himself, and he looks good. I love all the UFC experience as well. You got Axel Sola coming off of the Reese McKee victory, but relatively new to the UFC. So and we're relatively home turf for the Welshman, the Welsh gangster himself. Give me Mason Jones, man. I'm pretty impressed by him, and maybe he even gets a finish.
I think Mason Jones is being slept on odds wise. I was surprised when I saw the odds, because I'm looking at Losene Keita at -220, and then I'm looking at
clearly I need to pull up the odds.
-122 for Mason Jones. You would have thought he's a 2-1 favorite.
Yeah, bro.
These
are the odds I thought I was going to hear for Losene Keita.
I know. Yeah, I was surprised to see that they're pretty close. Flipped. Yeah. And they opened up at -250. A lot of heavy money has come in on Axel Sola. Now, something I heard about Sola is that he is training in Dagestan. And I did a little research, but he's not with Team Habib. Okay. He's with the B team. Like, he's in Dagestan. That doesn't equal guaranteed win.
When they say 2-3 years Dagestan, forget. You can't just be up there with the goats, okay? Yeah. You gotta actually train the wrestling with Sajalayev, You gotta get up there and grab a hold of Islam Makhachev's this leg, brother, undefeated. This leg, undefeated, brother. You understand?
Yes, brother. Yes, brother.
I think we're on the money with this one.
Yeah, dude. I think Mason Jones, 5 to win, is a close money favorite. Him to win the fight inside of the distance is +250. If you think he's going to end up getting a sub, it's 9-1, KO +375, decision +175. Axel Sola is undefeated, and it's always interesting, right, to pick against somebody undefeated, but 11-0, a lot of wins against okay talent outside of the UFC, but like even that in UFC win that he has is Reese McKee, who I don't rate all that highly. He's tall, like he's lanky, but that's really about it. And Mason Jones is a vet. I mean, he's beaten Balagioki, he's beaten Jeremy Stevens, and you dig back into his first UFC run, you got to respect his work. I mean, yeah, he lost to Mike Davis, but he was able to go out and beat David Onama, lost to Ludovic Klein, but still got experience and fought against a real savage striker, and then went on a tear outside of the UFC, earned his way back. I think you got to respect what Mason Jones has done. He's on his second UFC venture. He's 30 years old. He's in his fighting prime now. He's not necessarily at home. He's a Wales guy, but he's close to home fighting in London. And I think Mason Jones.
Mason motherfucking Jones, dude. And he's had some names too. Like, you fight a Jeremy Stevens, you're fighting who the fuck is that guy? You're fighting Blazioki. At least you're fighting a well-rounded kid. I think that teed him up well for this. He's got this kid who's on fire but hasn't fought anybody. They're going to be in the UK. Let's go.
Let's go. Finch and I going Mason Jones. Let's run it up to our main card opener. Make sure you guys hit the likes and subscribe. We got a fun one to kick off the main card. We have Curtis Kit Campbell versus Danny Silva. I'm going with the Pink Panther, Curtis the Kid Campbell. But listen, Danny Silva can box. Like, I had some pause on this fight because I'm like, damn, I got a guy who just went distance against Kevin Vallejos. And he's 2-1 in the UFC versus a debuting guy, Mr. Four Eyes himself. But I think, like, by nerd maxing it, Campbell is just deceptively good. He's got surprisingly strong grappling. He's actually got pretty sharp striking technique. He attacks the kicks pretty nicely. He's fast on the feet. Danny Silva can box, but he doesn't offer me that much else besides mixing it up on the feet, stopping some takedowns, bringing some pressure. It was hard for me to like confidently jump on Danny Silva, even though initially I thought to myself, I might look at Silva here. But I'm like, am I riding the high off him going out and going distance with Vallejos in a 30-27 loss? And then I'm thinking back, well, okay, he was in a damn nail biter against Josh Culibao. He was in a real close one with Lucas Almeida. And now he's got an athlete from the UK coming off of a destructive win. And the guy seems to be able to do it all pretty well. I'm thinking Campbell is the better MMA fighter. And he's going to be able to mix it up on Silva. I don't think he just strikes with him. I won't be surprised if he mixes in a couple of takedowns, gets a little control. I think Silva will have some boxing moments, but I think Campbell's going to end up taking a hard fight on the cards. What do you think, Fish?
Tough one. I like that Silva's got all the UFC experience. The Kevin Vallejos going long is fantastic. And honestly, Culibao and Almeida, pretty good tests, although they were split decisions. Angel Pacheco, I don't even mind. So I'm kind of liking the resume a lot better for Danny Silva. And Campbell's only got the last rear naked strangle he got on his record. He's not going to be taking I feel like it's going to be tough to not strike a decent amount with Silva, and Silva's got hands. If he had more power, that would be good. He's the away team too, so maybe a slight lean Campbell, but I think I looked at the odds, bro, plus 170.
Yeah.
And then minus 200 for Curtis Campbell, who hasn't done shit inside of the UFC. I mean, he looked good in his one fight on Dana White's Contender Series. But as far as who to bet on, I think the bet is Danny Silva. I don't know. I want to lean Curtis Campbell being a more well-rounded MMA fighter and probably taking him long. But, I don't think you could bet on him at 2-1. I don't think he deserves that.
No. I think as much of a solid prospect as he is, 2-1 odds favoring him against a guy who's 2-1 in the UFC, and his only loss is to their rising Argentine star and Kevin Vallejos.
People were fucking comparing Kevin Vallejos to Ilya Topuria on Saturday. Right. That's what I was hearing.
That's a comparison. Yeah,
he's beaten Culibao and
Lucas Almeida.
Okay, maybe not that. Maybe the Lucas Almeida one hasn't aged well, but Culibao's fucking game. I don't know. This is a tough fight.
Testy fight for sure, man. I think over 2.5 rounds is minus 175. I think Danny Silva's pretty durable. I think he's in pretty good shape. I think Curtis Campbell is going to be tested a bit, but I don't think he's getting knocked out here. I think he's going to put in 3 hard rounds with Danny Silva. Like, I feel like this one seems like a hard fought decision where it's maybe 2-1. and Campbell hits a couple of the key takedowns and has a couple of the key moments, man.
Marwan Rahiki was just a 2-1 favorite in his debut on a main card. Does that look like Harry Hardwick on the other side to you? What are we talking about here? Harry Hardwick had this horrible performance against Caio Fernandez, who just beat the fucking shit out of him. And so, coming into the next one, we didn't quite respect the durability so much. He got his calf eaten alive and couldn't stand in the last one. He looked actually very vulnerable the fight before. So his durability was the thing that was impressive on Saturday. That's not this fight. Silva's more game than that. I like Silva's had success inside the UFC pretty consistently too.
I think over 2.5. I think Campbell gets it on the cards. I think it's competitive. And I think Silva can have some moments. He's fast, but I think Campbell ultimately able to mix it up a little better with the wrestling. I think that's the one knock on Silva. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler, but he's fought all strikers. And I've seen Campbell maul some guys in grappling before. So I'm thinking Campbell is going to test that area that has been untested inside of the UFC. The last time I saw Danny Silva out-wrestled, I believe it was the Kanan Kawai fight, like back in 2022 in LFA. I remember he was taken down a little bit there. So I think against the guy who can mix it up with wrestling, I'm going to trust in Campbell to get this thing to the floor and outwork him. And I think Danny Silva is going to probably be a popular underdog because of how good he did with Vicious and surviving. But I think you have to look at each fight separately and not say, well, he went distance here, so that means he beats this guy. It's just, that performance matched up maybe a little better for him.
He missed weight in that Culibao fight, by the way. I'm going to lean Campbell slightly because I don't think Danny Silva has enough consequence to him. If you look, he's got 5 KOs and 5 decisions, but the KOs were early in his career when he was fighting 0-2, 2-3. Up against some real competition, he goes long, he goes to decision, he uses his boxing technique to try to eke out a decision, and I mean eke out a decision. Let's say he doesn't get that close decision on the away field.
Let's go. Finch and I both leaning towards Campbell on the judges' scorecards. Let's keep on running up. Next one, Roman Dolidze versus Christian Leroy Duncan.
Okay.
This is nice.
We're having some fun.
This is a good one. It's the chance for Duncan to really break into the upper echelon of this UFC middleweight division. He's taking on a Dolidze coming off of a pretty dominant loss, lopsided L against Anthony Hernandez. But to be fair, before that, he had won 3 in a row. I think Christian Leroy Duncan should beat him. I think his striking is sharper. I think he's more dangerous on the feet. I think those mistakes that Dolidze makes by overshooting his punches and coming in recklessly will be exploited by Leroy Duncan. Now, if you obsess too much, though, you look back, well, Dolidze went long against Imavov. Fair. It was a younger Dolidze and it was a younger Imavov. I think Dolidze's last fight was a bad look. He really got mauled by Hernandez against a guy that was a grappler. And Dolidze, bro, the selling point on Dolidze is he's a good fucking grappler. And he got destroyed. He was pulling fucking for leg locks constantly. It was a bad performance. I think Leroy Duncan is at a big kickboxing advantage over him. I think he's a lot faster. I think Leroy Duncan should bust him up. I think he could be the first guy to put Dolidze away, but I'm not shocked if we work 3 hard rounds and Duncan does more significant damage. I'm going to favor the side of Leroy Duncan to handle this one and take it home. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he'll look sharper on the feet. I think he's the more explosive athlete between the two. And I'm going to favor the technical and crisp kickboxing style over Dolidze's berserker boxing. What do you think, Finchman?
I like this fight. I like this matchup. CLD is a motherfucking problem. I mean, if your name ain't RoboCop, you're going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this dude. He's very explosive on the feet, but also has some solid technique. I saw that comment too.
Very nice, right? I got to bring that up.
Pull that shit back up. First night doing late night DoorDash and no radio station or other podcasts could match this show right now. Let's fucking go, Austin.
Let's go. W, Austin, man.
Thank you, buddy. Roman Dolidze is going to need to get a hold of this guy and drag him to the ground. First problem, getting a hold of this guy. As he closes that distance, Roman Dolidze has not shown good entries into takedowns. You could look back at that fluffy fight to see him struggling in clinches, and I think that CLD is going to light his ass up as he tries to close that distance. They got the big cage, so he's not easily walked down to that fence. And then, even when he does get a hold of him, I think Leroy Duncan's got enough game to get back to separation. Roman Dolidze ends up on top. You make no mistake, he's a fucking problem. He beat Marvin Vettori, Kevin Holland, Anthony Lionheart Smith. So he's beaten Jack Hermanson, Kyle Dawkins back in 2022, who's on the White House card. Holy shit. Phil Hawes before everybody knocked out Phil Hawes. So the dude's seen some real competition, but Roman Dolidze is 37. We're talking about a 30-year-old Christian Leroy Duncan who just knocked out Eric Anders and Mark Tulio, kind of on one right now and feeling himself, stepping up in competition. Make no mistake, Roman Dolidze has been the guy at the top of the division. This is the guy who's earned it fighting a lot of big names that you recognize, but I think it's CLD's time. I think he has a great performance, and he gets to perform on home turf. This hometown boy gets it done. Christian Leroy Duncan via KO.
Christian Leroy Duncan, money line odds, -450. Dolidze +350. Right? Wide, bro. It's like the Mexico City card right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
Really? 450?
I know. I think, as everybody's thinking the same, like, yo, this looks like the lock. They're going to try to price you out.
He beat Tulio and a 38-year-old Eric Anders.
Yeah. They got him at 450. You go KO, you can make a little plus money. It's +130. But Dolidze never been chinned before.
Yeah, that's concerning because Dolidze, strong dude in the clinch. Damn, Vegas is really trying to, okay. Hey, they make you dog hunt. Like, that's the thing. Like, hey, they keep doing odds like this. They're just gonna make you hit a big dog every now and then, No, the assessment is Leroy Duncan's got some fast hands on him. He lets him go. He hurts Roman Dolidze. So, all right.
I think Duncan hands should look fast. His overall game is nasty. His elbows are fucking blades. One thing I don't love is he spins a little too much, and that could put him on his back. That would be the mistake from Leroy Duncan if he's attacking with those spinning kicks a little too much. But I think Dolidze is getting cooked. I'm not saying it's the Josh Emmett situation, but here's what I'm going to say to you, Finch. In my brain, I play it like this. Dolidze's last fight got mauled by Anthony Hernandez. And then you look at his 3 most recent wins, you really look closely. Marvin Vettori has fallen from grace in a big way. Kevin Holland is losing fights at 170, and Anthony Smith was getting finished by everybody, and Dolidze got him on the cards, right?
Yeah,
so
Kevin Holland's hot and cold, though.
He is. I guess I just think
nice performances, bro.
Kevin Holland's been on one, and now he's been off one. So we'll see if he turns up against Brown at 327.
Fair.
But I think that Leroy Duncan's live to be the first guy to chin Dolidze. I think so. Especially he's coming out real aggressive as of late. He's kind of upped his intensity, and I think ultimately Dolidze's probably getting caught. Like, I think Duncan's going to make him pay in a big way. At home in the UK, I like it.
Yeah, I can't I can't just go off of the lines. So, of course, the assessment is Christian Leroy Duncan. It's his time.
Yeah, it's his time. Leroy Duncan to handle. Should get the knockout. We'll keep running up. Next fight on the card, we got Iwo Baranovsky versus Austin Lane.
Savage. The warrior himself, bro. The fucking crazy war he just had. Jesus Christ. You see somebody throw caution to the wind like that, and then I even see Austin Lane, and I go, maybe. But no, come on. Baranovsky letting his fucking hands go, clocking Austin Lane's big ass head is hard to miss, dude. Fucking go find that thing. Just got to get through that beard. Austin Lane, too basic, too sort of rudimentary, right? I think Baranovsky comes out there, lets his hands go, lets his strikes go, gets an early KO.
Lane is dropping down to 205.
Yep.
Which is also fucking nuts.
Big, dude.
Yeah.
He's fucking big. Why? The heavyweights are not good. And I guess light heavyweight's not that deep either, but this kid's not bad. This is not a favor for him moving down. This is not a favor.
I guess I just think about it like this. Baranovsky, the one worry is the way he fought against Ibo Aslan. Ballistic wild shit. If you're going to give Austin Lane a chance, it's in a brawl, right?
Roll the dice.
Listen, Lane got hands on him. He can throw some power. If you sit in the pocket with him and he just lugs one on the chin. But, Baranovsky should be better. I do think Baranovsky could hit takedowns and Baranovsky could find his way on top. Like, I don't think that Baranovsky is very limited in his game. He's got a very experienced amateur background as well. So, I think the debut was a wild one. It's kind of the moment got to him in a big way, and he won a brawl. I hope that in this one, he's a little more poised, though. Like, and you know what, though? If he does swing wild fists like he did last time, it'll probably work against Austin Lane. It probably does. And I think if you're Austin Lane, you're probably trying to shoot on him right away. But I don't know, man. At 205, I worry about Lane's durability even more than I did up at heavyweight.
All right, hit me with the fucking odds.
Oh, shit. The odds for this fight, -600 for Iwo Baranovski. Trash can parlay leg 3.
Trash can parlay. Come on.
That's it. I know.
Ball the paper up. Line that trash can up. Let's go.
Bingo. It's in. I think Baranovski handles. And I do think Baranovski by knockout. You're looking at 2-1 odds for him to win by KO, though.
Yeah. So, when you bet on a wrestler, when you bet on somebody who's got kind of a reliable style and a predictable style, that's one thing. Just know when you're betting on Baranovski, you're betting on a show. My boy's coming out there with fireworks, guns a-blazing. He could have tried to take his time against Ibo Assman. He could have gone out there and thrown a jab a little bit. He got right into the fucking fire. And by getting into the fire with people, you fucking roll the dice with them, man. You roll the dice with them. And I think here it's going to be like, what does 13-7 Austin Lane look like when he drops weight? Who knows? What was he weighing in at? Let me see here. So these previous weigh-ins I'm interested in. Weighed in at 245, 249, 251. Bro, what?
Big heavyweight. Not like he was 230.
Yeah, and he's tall as hell.
6'6".
Boy, 6'6". Jesus. Baranovski, way too many question marks about Lane.
Baranovski knockout, 2-1 odds. It's probably a KO. He does have 2 wins by sub. For sub, it's +375, but his sub wins are arm bars. Like, I don't know. I don't see him going to an arm bar. I think he's going to look to fucking bust a hole in Austin Lane's head. Like, the knockout style is what Baranovski seems to bring to the table. And ultimately, I think Lane's going to be a sitting duck for the power shot. Baranovski should win by KO round 1. You look at his game, it's first round knockouts galore. And for him to win by KO in the first round, it's +105. They're giving you a little plus money.
Huh. Dude, I think there's another parlay brewing, bro. And it's the weigh-in parlay. It's like, what does Losene Keita look like? What does Austin Lane look like? Right? Some of these weigh-ins are going to be massive.
Now, the weigh-in show this week feels like more important than the past few cards than ever before, because Lane at 205, I don't know how the hell he's going to look. And I think ultimately the Baranovski power is too much. I'm saying he lands a big shot. Trash can parlay leg 3, Baranovski. It should be one-sided. It should be a first-round knockout. Austin Lane, I think, is pretty outgunned against a good boxer with nice timing. And also like a prestigious amateur run. He's just a better martial artist than Austin Lane. Austin Lane's big. That's it. But what is size when you don't know how to really use it? And then dropping away. It's one thing if this is at heavyweight, but at light heavyweight, I would anticipate Austin Lane is less durable, and the hard weight cut could completely affect his performance. I mean, he's made an entire career off not cutting weight, fighting at heavyweight, now doing a weight cut. Like, I think this could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Like, he's not, it just doesn't make sense. He was lean. He's not
lean. It's not like he was fat, boy. If he had the big gut, we're like, oh man, he could probably
Aswell, bro. Where the fuck are you gonna find this?
I don't know.
What is he gonna chop off to make weight? And don't answer that question.
A lot of water weight.
His fucking left leg, dude. I mean, that boy's 250. That's a big boy, 6'6". It's generally a bad idea to move down in weight, especially from the worst weight class in MMA.
Yeah, I think so. Lighter man skill, even when it's light heavyweight to heavyweight, especially when you're coming down to the light heavyweight division.
The speed difference, dude. The speed difference messing with these guys. Yeah. Now, it's just important repeating. Baranovski takes risk. Okay. You guys got to be aware about that before you bet these fucking crazy odds.
Let's go. Risky Baranovski. I'll say the risk will be rewarded. We're going him by by KO. Let's run it to the featured fight of the night. Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. Finch man. I'm picking Sam Patterson.
Oh, I
to
knew
beat
it.
Michael Venom Page.
I knew it.
I think
knew
so.
it.
I don't know if you heard why I'm picking him, but besides the fact that I normally like his style,
it's coming back to me now. It's coming back
if
to me now. I
there's
did know
out
that.
there, if there's anybody out there that's seen it, it's the guy who was training with him for 3 of his UFC fights. And I really will present this to people. I think the best aspect of Michael Venom Page is how fucking confusing he is to deal with because nobody fights like him. And if there's anybody that's made those reads, it's a guy that has numerous rounds sparring against you. Yeah. And then on top of that, a talented grappler with some striking ability, with long arms.
Yeah.
Huh?
He could punch. Patterson's developing some fucking hands, man. He looks a little nervous out there, but he lets that shit go.
He cracks.
His pasty ass could bang across.
I guess I look at it like this. Michael Venom Page becomes in many people's minds the easy pick. Oh, well, Page, he should put Patterson away. Oh, well, Patterson, what? Sam Patterson is on a 4-fight win streak. He's in his fighting prime right now. That's another aspect, 29. Yeah. He's known Michael Venom Page for like a decade. You know, they sparred together when he was a kid. They sparred together, you know, leading up to his UFC sophomore appearance. And then doing camps with him for 3 of his 4 UFC fights in Michael Venom Page. I feel like that's a big fucking deal. And Michael Venom Page is not crazy about this matchup. Obviously, he likes Sam Patterson, but how's he going to get into the head of a guy that has so many rounds with him? Those games that he plays in the taunts, I just don't necessarily feel they work against a guy that knows your tells. Like, I think Sam Patterson and him are in a much more even fight than people would expect. And I'm sure Sam Patterson took this fight knowing, oh, I've sparred with him. Oh, I've got to him. I'm able to hit that single leg on him. I've taken him to the ground. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think Sam Patterson is taking this fight after getting mauled in sparring so many times. Like, I don't think he would. I think it's because there's rounds where he's gotten looks and he's finding timing and he's testing Page. Why do they keep bringing Patterson back to spar? Because he's giving you good work. This is a guy to spar because he actually pushes Michael Venom Page in the room. I think Sam Patterson could surprise a lot of people. Another aspect, Michael Venom Page is 2 weeks away from being 39. That's not fighting prime. I think Sam Patterson is going to surprise people. I think it could be a decision. I think it could be a big punch that lands into a club and sub. Less likely of a knockout. But at the end of the day, with Patterson's underrated power, he's putting people out. You never know. I'm going to go Sam Patterson to pull this upset off.
Sheesh, let's go. AJ's on the Sam Patterson train. Well, guess who's been on the Sam Patterson train, first of all, against Danny Barlow when he was a dog. In a few fights now where people been doubting my boy Sam Patterson. I'm going MVP. I hear what you're saying. And all of that could be true. But I look at the stylistic matchup, and I don't see Sam Patterson taking Michael Venom Page down. Michael Venom Page, you know, I watched Michael Venom Page fight a great wrestler in Logan Storley, okay? And Logan Storley shot takedowns for 25 minutes, and I just watched Jammin' in New York, which is one of George Carlin's best specials. It's available on YouTube. Shout out to the legend, George Carlin, probably my favorite comedian ever. And he describes golf this way. He's like, it's like watching flies fuck. And watching Logan Storley versus MVP was like watching flies fuck. It was a terrible fight. However, you got to see the takedown defense layers to MVP's game, and it was a very close fight. I don't think a Sam Patterson, personally, I don't see him getting him down in this matchup. And then I look at the striking, and I just see that range game in that big cage in the UK that Michael Venom Page plays really well. With that being said, I like Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson's absolutely going to give MVP a run for his money. He's got better like pure hands than MVP. MVP has like that pop, that 1-2 he throws. He's got like a couple shots, as McGregor calls them, shots. Yeah, he's got shots in his book, and he has shots. But I think overall, you're going to see a control from the footwork, a control of the timing and the legs, that taekwondo of Michael Venom Page still work in the fight, you know, despite them training together, which is a very important thing to highlight and probably is lost on Las Vegas when they make these odds, which you're about to surprise me with right now, aren't you?
You ready for these odds? -185, Michael Venom Page, +160, Sam Patterson.
That makes sense.
Respectable lines, not
I
wide.
think that's about right.
Yeah, I respect those odds too. Patterson getting some respect. Page deserved favorite tag. I know people are saying, well, doesn't Page know Patterson? Yes, that is true. But with the Michael Venom Page style comes a lot of confusion. And with Patterson's style, not to say there's no element of surprise. He's got some deceptive power, but he's more of a standard kickboxer. It's not like he's got his hands down and he's fucking dancing in there, so it's less of the wow factor. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think you have seen guys like Patterson go out and succeed in the UFC, right? Where Page, it's like this guy is the one of one.
Yeah, Michael Venom Page like dribbles like he's playing basketball and shit when he's flowing.
That could get him caught against Sam Patterson.
He's got a little bit of style, a little bit of little something going on there. So I think that I think it's the feet of Michael Venom Page that makes the difference here. Sam Patterson, also tall, lanky guy, and like I said, I like Patterson's hands. He goes and gets you. In some of these matchups, it's just been like, man, Sam Patterson, he looks nervous when he's doing it, but his body just goes in there and lets the hands go. I think with MVP, he's gonna be hard to fucking hit, bro. MVP gives you range problems. I mean, I've sparred a lot of. Honestly, I have some shades of like that Taekwondo karate stance in my style. I think I have a decent understanding of it, and MVP is one of the best I've ever seen it using it. His timing's really funky. You could spar 100 rounds with the dude, but I still think when it comes to fighting him, you're gonna miss a lot of punches.
Fair. Listen, I understand the MVP take. I didn't expect it to be all that popular to be on the Patterson side.
That's all right.
It's all good. We'll see what happens when the cage door closes. I'm
Sam
going Patterson
fan though.
Hey, Sam Patterson's the man. I know you were with me. We both went Patterson over Barlow, Patterson over Waters. We've had
dog money, right?
Yeah, he was a big though. He's my savage underdog lock for the Barlow fight.
Yeah, Patterson's come through for us, man. Trey Waters, absolutely. Yeah, Danny Barlow plus 185. Shout out to Premium Channel where I give out all my favorite bets. DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram to see my bets this week. Yes, I gave Patterson out, but this matchup's a funky one, dude. It's a fucking funky one. Very excited, and they both have home field advantage. They should feel
Patterson. What is that?
They should feel comfortable. This is a good. What an important fight for these guys.
Yeah, no, it is smart. It is. It's the right matchup. Doing it here, I think it's a good vibe. Plus 160 Patterson, minus 185 Page. Will it be the passing of the metaphorical torch, or will Michael Venom Page shut down his boy? We find out when the cage door closes. I like the underdog. Finch likes the slight favorite. What I'll say is this: if you are confident on Michael Venom Page, you got a pretty decent money line at minus 170. If you're with me on the dog, we got a decent plus money line at plus 160. So at the end of the day, it's a tale of two fights. We shall see who's right and who wins when the cage door closes. At the end of the day, we make the hypothesis, we put it into action on Saturday. So let's go. Finchman going MVP. I'm going Patterson. Let's get to the damn co-main event of the evening. Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell. Finchman. I'm going with Luke Riley. I know you said he looked 12, but in his debut, he aged a little bit.
13.
I think Luke Riley's got faster striking. He's more deceptive with his stand-up. Aswell's a good volume guy. He's a good in-your-face pressure boxer. But I don't know. I'm watching him throw his straights, and the chin is there to be touched. He's sitting on the center line. Seems to have a good chin. But I think Luke Riley's a lot quicker than him. I think Luke Riley has better reflexes, better eyes, better counters, and bigger power. Everybody tries to wrestle Luke Riley. Even Bogdan Grad, who's a striker, was panic wrestling him.
Yeah.
And Riley, when they stood up, you saw why. He found one moment, boom, left hook, round two, spun him around, game, set, match, fight over with. Violence. Aswell, obviously, is familiar with Bogdan Grad. They went to war on Contender Series. He lost a very close split decision. I think that the Luke Riley side is the A side. He's getting put in the co-main event as a bit of a Patty Pimblett's boy being the industry fucking plant in front of our eyes, for sure. But I think he's going to pull this one out, man. I really like his stand-up game a ton, and I think he has some serious upside with strike speed and power and precision being probably his best suit, and Aswell more of a volume guy. I think he's probably getting countered. And I'm going to say Luke Riley gets a nice W. Does Aswell survive the distance? He definitely could. He's never been put out before. but I do think Riley's fast twitch abilities are pretty serious, and I could see Aswell put down and potentially put out by a knockout puncher like Luke. What do you think, Finch, man?
Major gift for Aswell Jr. to be in this situation, man. He better go make the most of it. You know, he's got nice hands, he's got nice striking, but I think this is Luke Riley's party for sure. I think that you know, Luke Riley, from the sounds of it, is fucking up Patty Pimblett in the gym. You know, Luke Riley stalking striker and pretty explosive, you know, 26 years old, but Michael Aswell is 25. So, you know, he's giving him a kid from across the pond to beat up here. It's such a strong matchup for Riley. I don't see Aswell threatening him where you would want to. You want to put Riley on his back, rough him up a little bit, get him a little tired, get him a little damaged, see what he does when he's tested. Aswell's going to fight him right where he's strongest. I like Riley in this one. Maybe he gets a KO. Maybe he puts Aswell away. You know, it's probably fun until Riley gets him out of there.
Minus 225 for Riley, which is not awful. I'll be honest with you. I saw it yesterday at 3-1. It's come down a bit at minus 225. It's not a terrible parlay piece. I'd actually say it's a solid one if you're looking for something to maybe parlay up. I think Riley has got a real speed advantage. You know, I like Aswell too. I think he's fun. You know, he fought against Lucas Almeida last time, and I pick flipped to him after weigh-ins. Almeida had his hand looking like a fucking, he's got elephantitis, you know, and he knocked him out, but he's fighting a one-handed guy. Debut, he went distance with Balagioki, but he did lose. I think that Luke Riley's a different level of striking ability. And I think at minus 225, he's going to look about that. Should clear. As well as toughness could keep him in it for 3 hard, but ultimately Riley could be very live to shut him off. And I really think you have to wrestle this kid. And nobody has been successful at keeping it up. You know, he turns strikers into wrestlers. Maybe the same happens with Aswell. And I think when Aswell starts feeling some of these counters, you might even see him try and wrestle. And that's just not his game. He's not a very good wrestler. Yeah, he's got a box. And I think he's getting out boxed. So Riley, very live for the knockout over the 15 minutes. KO sitting at a line of plus 180. And then you're looking towards Riley, just money line, though, minus 225. Not bad.
Careful chasing Riley by KO because Aswell has never been finished in his career. When he loses by decision to Balagioki, etc. But Riley KO. I think the crowd, dude. I think that fucking crowd co-main event. They're gonna be loose. They're gonna be ready for Lerone Murphy, and I think that they're gonna go crazy when Patty Pimblett's behind him doing this shit and they're coming out. I think Luke Riley's gonna try to put this dude away.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, Arf, thank you for. Oh, sorry, Finch. I doubled
up.
Man. Hey, thank you for the $13.99 Canadian. Mullins sub, MVP decision, Riley KO. Throw the trash can parlay in there because why the fuck not? Hey, love you, Arf. Thank you.
Why the fuck not? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go, Arf. Thank you, dude. What is that? Is that a cat playing poker? Is that what I'm looking at?
I think so.
Okay.
Creative.
Interesting. Very interesting. $13.99 too. Mullins submission MVP decision. Riley KO. Damn, that sounds like a risky parlay because you're picking these finishes. You're gonna go nuts. You know, I was just talking to my boy Stone Dax who hit this massive parlay he did one time, but it's hard. It's hard to do those. You know, if you're gonna bet like that, you're definitely looking at straights, right? You're not trying to parlay all that together with any money you're not willing to lose.
Hey, yeah, I think you could just go all straight lines on those, you know, instead of chasing some wild shit. But decision is yours.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's live for sure. But Luke Riley gonna be the Finch and I's call. I think he's gonna look pretty good here, and I'm actually like really excited to see this second UFC fight for him because the kid seems to be blue chip as fuck as far as prospects go. Right. 26.
Right,
yeah, co-main event. That come on. They're giving him that chance, and I don't think Aswell is the guy to beat him. So Riley, confident call for us both. Let's keep running. Let's jump to the main event of the evening. If you guys are enjoying the show, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm at 58,100 something subscribers. We're on the cusp of freaking 59, but really we're on the cusp of 60. So hit the sub, show some love. Join me every day and join me in the Finch every Monday. Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy is a sensational fight. Elite guys. And how often do you see the O's in the main event? Both guys never lost. This is great. Number one contender fight. My pick for the fight, Mike Finch. I'm going Lerone Murphy by a damn close decision, my boy. I'm going Lerone. I think that everybody is overrating Movzar with the EV. His wrestling's good, but it's not that fucking good. He lands takedowns, but guys get up a lot. We were talking about that earlier with not much of a control game from top. And then you might
Murphy has great stand-ups.
Amazing stand-ups. And they'll throw, Aljo's playing that game, though. All he wants to do is grapple. He doesn't want to kickbox. Arnold Allen was really touching up Evloev round 3, busted him up, landed those nasty, at the time, illegal knees, now legal. Sure, Evloev was quick with the stance switch right hands in round 2, and it was a real close round 1. But people act like Evloev is pinning people to the mat and just mauling them. Oh, he's such a wrestler. He's so good. His striking's so sharp. He's getting fucking 29-28 decisions galore. And I think Lerone Murphy's get-up game is really the key here. And it's very good. He's used to guys trying to wrestle him, and he's getting up on every damn instance. I mean, who's mauling Murphy on the ground? You get him down, he gets up. What I love about this fight for Murphy, Mike Finch, is the simple truth of it all. In the small space moments, he lands elbows, he lands knees, and he does damage, whereas Movzar doesn't damage people. Movzar controls, but it's not like the Islam control where he's fully has you pinned on the mat and you can't get up. It's wrestling you. It's you landing shots on him. It's him just coming forward. And if he's not able to secure significant control time, that doesn't beat damage. Mike Finch, I'm going to hand you the microphone. I don't want to talk too much about the main event. I want to hear you break this thing down.
No, go ahead. I 100% right. And the timing for Lerone Murphy is perfect. Lerone Murphy, kind of a decision machine, but he goes out there against Aaron Pico, who's just always shot out of a fucking cannon. He sees him step to the side, lowers level, boom, he hits him with that spinning back elbow. That's like exactly what you wanted to get him to that next level. That's exactly what he needed to add to get him up there, for him to understand cognitively, I can end these motherfuckers. I don't need to fight all 25 minutes. I love that he has all that experience. You know, Lerone Murphy's the active one between the two. Josh Emmett, he also beat in 2025. Dan Ige, Edson Barbosa, Josh Kulabao, all in 2024. Kulabao was 2023. He fights twice a year. But Evloev hasn't fought. He hasn't fought since Aljo fight, which was a decision. He couldn't finish Aljo in 2024. Arnold Allen, Diego Lopez, Dan Ige, you got some names there too. But I believe that it's the side of Lerone Murphy who is really peaking right now. And if you look over on the other side at Evloev, is he going to be worse than when he fought Aljamain Sterling? But like maybe, right? Maybe it's tougher coming back, not having fought all of 2025, and you've got Lerone Murphy. That sounds like a tough task to me because Lerone Murphy is elite in the striking. He's better in the striking than Evloev. Evloev's striking's okay, but Lerone Murphy should be able to out kickbox him, and you have a little bit of danger finally based off of his last performance. With the wrestling, Evloev will take him down. Okay, Evloev is going to take Lerone Murphy down, but Lerone Murphy's stand-ups are very good, and his cardio is very good, and he's at home. I like Lerone Murphy in this one. I like his chances of trying to hurt Evloev as Evloev keeps crashing in and closing that distance. And over 5 rounds, I like his cardio. You know, even if he's having a rough first or second round with some of the wrestling, working back to his feet. And I just like him in really 2 out of 3 areas. I like him at range, and I like him when they're on the floor creating scrambles, getting back to his feet. I feel like Evloev can get the takedown, but that's it. He only has the wrestling aspect. Even on the ground, he hasn't shown tremendous control, as to where Lerone Murphy has shown pretty technical stand-ups on the fence. Let's say in a 25-minute fight, home turf, winner gets title shot, Lerone Murphy gets it done.
I like it, man. I think over the 25, he'll win some key moments in the fight, doing more damage in this fight too. And I think Evloev, how's he going to look round 3 when the takedowns don't necessarily work as well? When Lerone is still moving on him and starting to find his rhythm and range. And then when it's turning into more of a kickboxing fight, I think Evloev could get caught panic wrestling, could get caught by some big shots, could end up getting, busted up a bit. And I think the optics, right, of Murphy hitting him and making him bleed are very live. I don't really feel overconfident in Evloev's danger factor.
Absolutely. He's a very strong wrestler, but even just watching the Aljamain Sterling fight back, like it's not, he doesn't blend it with jiu-jitsu beautifully. There's not like a super dangerous mat problem with him. So I think as Lerone Murphy gets up, he's going to get chances for spinning elbows. He's going to get chances for knees to the body. He's going to get chances to get back to the center. And these two guys are going to have a fight.
It's going to be a good matchup. And I'm hoping that it ends up being a definite entertainer and not a snoozer. And I'm going to have faith that Lerone Murphy is able to create some big moments for us and force Evloev into more of a dogfight as well. Odds for the fight, Evloev -230 is a pretty big favorite. Lerone Murphy +195. I don't really agree with the odds. Both undefeated, right?
Damn. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Dude, these odds are rocking my world.
I know.
Holy shit.
I know.
All right. I got a +200 dog.
I know.
Okay.
The underdog.
The fuck? Wow, people love this wrestling shit, huh? This nut hugging fucking this motherfucker. Get the fuck off me. Get the fuck off of me. All right? You sweaty bastard. Quit hugging me. I feel like Lerone Murphy could light this guy up. Let's go.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to see the Lerone Murphy side pull it out. I think so. I think he can do it. I think it's competitive. I think there's close moments for both. And I think Evloev definitely has some rounds in him. But I'll say like Murphy 48-47 in a back and forth one, doing some damage. And I will trust in offensive striking aggression over offensive wrestling pressure without high level of control and without a high level threat of damage or ground and pound or submissions, because Evloev is yet to finish a UFC fight. And over 4.5 rounds at -245 is a little chalked up, right? When you see two high-level guys, shit can happen. You know, even though they both a lot of times go distance, there's danger moments that could come together, and it's not a guarantee that we end up seeing 5 hard. But I would favor 5 hard over this fight ended inside of the distance. I'll go Murphy on the cards. Finchman, I think you're thinking the same. Him to win by decision is +325, but you got an underdog straight on the money line, man.
Yeah, there's no reason to chase a finish here. Although, you know, I think Lerone Murphy having the mindset of hurting this guy, of finishing this guy is good, because you've seen Lerone kind of revert back to being a round winner multiple times. You know, I'm thinking of the Emmett fight. I'm thinking of, which was, I think, his first main event for a fight night. So 5 rounds. You know, so I would like to see the Murphy that came out there against Aaron Pico. Yes, he got taken down, but he got back up and he went for it.
I'll also present one more thing about it. I think Murphy's going to have a little bit of a physicality edge. He's the bigger guy between the two of them. Jared held MVP down round 3. Patterson by sub lock. Hey, Nerdy in 97. Thank you for 199, my boy.
Jared held MVP down round 3. So that means Sam Patterson's going to? What the fuck kind of math is that? I think Sam Patterson is going to have a lot of trouble taking that wiry ass kickboxer down, man. He's got some like, people underestimate MVP's takedown defense. I mean, you're thinking on the feet, right?
Me?
You're thinking Patterson on the feet, right?
I think Patterson's actually going to touch him, and then he could find takedowns with a bit of striking. I don't think it's like when you brought up when he fought against Logan Storley, Mr. Wrestler himself.
Yeah.
He didn't offer any striking damage, right? I think you have to mix up some strikes to find the takedown, I believe. On
that was a split decision. Logan Storley made that really close, but it was just an example of like, it's not as easy as I'm just going to take this guy down on the fence with a basic double. Like, MVP's got defensive wrestling game. So and people think it's easy to catch kicks. Not all kicks are created equal. When I throw a side kick at you and I'm standing sideways, I can pull my foot out of that a lot easier than when I throw like a roundhouse kick to the body and I'm facing square with you. Wrestling, you know, catching kicks, but if the knee's turned away from you, is much harder to climb that ladder and hoist that knee up there like Hamzat and kick out that plant leg like Islam Makhachev. You got to get that knee high. When you're catching, you know, MVP spinning back kick right at the end, very difficult to score on that stuff. So so we went back due to the dono, but I just wanted to point out that Patterson out wrestling this guy, not what I'm seeing by looking at tape.
Respect. Listen, we're both going Murphy in the main event as the dog to do more damage over the 25 minutes against the game Movsar Evloev. Should be a sick fight. I can't wait for it. You know, I'll be live for the card, but we're also Now, and Finch will be live right after. He's doing his recaps, right? I've been noticing. I've been paying attention.
5-0. Most confident picks is right after this. And you're right. Right after the fucking fights, I've been on live. You know why? Because I got this baby, and I'm always thinking like, damn, it's gonna be Sunday. We could hit the beach. Like, why don't I just get this shit done tonight? You know, I've been watching the fights at home with my baby on my chest. So yeah, I'll be live right after. Let's go.
W to the Finch, man. We're about to do our favorite section, and I think it's many of yours as well. Let's jump into the parlays.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fierce fights.
Yeah. Parlay time. We're giving you guys a gem. It's the trash can parlay tonight. Yeah. Trash can parlay 1-0. Let's go for 2-0. My additions to the trash can parlay are Montas Kondratavičius, and he's beating up Trócoli. Trócoli's the trash can. We're fading Trócoli. Get out of the UFC, Trócoli. Mackenzie Dern dumped your ass a while ago. That's the last W you had. And then I'm going to go with Iwo Baranuski over Austin Lane, because Austin Lane is one of the biggest heavyweights in the UFC, and so he's dropping down to 205. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. Put him in the trash.
All right, we're going to get the odds in front of you here, and I don't like them one bit, Finch, man.
That's why I'm saying you got to add more legs. Trash can parlay needs 3-4 legs.
This one for sure is gonna need some more. Holy shit. Where is our boy? We got one more.
This is the trash.
You're looking at like minus 200-ish range.
We need more legs.
Yeah.
You got
now, if we were gonna do just a quick hits, our usual 1-1, you want to give that still or no?
What are you talking about? Go ahead. What are you talking
like
about?
when we would give my leg, I give you give yours.
I gave you 2 legs off the bat so you could pick what you want out of trash can parlay. Now remember, AJ, the theme here is that we're fading somebody. Okay. Yes. So usually a trash can parlay includes CM Punk would be a great addition to a trash can parlay. So do you see any other legs out there that make sense for this fucking stinky pile of shit?
I know it is. I think Luke Riley wins and he's playable at minus 225.
So you're fading Aswell though.
I am fading Aswell. I think Luke Riley's a lot faster.
That's a nice little trio. That's nice.
I like a lot of underdogs this card, man. You know,
that's true.
Some of them that are catching my eye in a big way. It's a dangerous one, man. But I think there's definitely some sneaky plays to be had. And I definitely look forward to making some magic happen with this week's best MMA bets. I'm excited.
With that 3. All right, so you add your boy. You add Luke Riley.
3 or 2 again. I want to make sure I got it right.
We're fading Trócoli.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. We're fading Lane. Okay. And then you're throwing in Riley, who really AJ's picking Riley, so he fucked up my trash can parlay. But that's okay. Go ahead. What do we got?
So you're going Baranuski, who's fucking, my God, these odds, man. Jesus.
The Polak himself, okay? And I can say that because I'm a third Polish. Nadzieja is my mother's maiden name. AJ, spell Nadzieja live on the show.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
No one ever will.
That's funny. Listen, if you go Kondratavičius, Baranuski, and you go towards the side of Luke Riley, you're sitting around minus 108. Now, if you're really about the trash can shit, and you're like, you're really focused on just sticking it to the trash can, Kondratavičius, Baranuski, and then you also throw Mr. fucking minus 900 on your lineup, you're looking at minus like 200, minus 208 to like minus 193 for that trash can parlay, which kind of sucks, 2-1 odds, but probably hits.
Yeah, fair enough. The previous trash can parlay, what were my 4 legs on that hoe? Y'all remember? I don't. I have way too many notes here. Fuck it. I ain't even looking back to it. But it was just 4 massive favorites, So you're gonna have to put a lot of legs. I really don't. We actually had a bookie on the show who sets lines and and does this shit for a living. And he was saying, you know, like we were like, okay, so what's a big mistake people make? And it's like doing more than like 2 legs, like stick to 2-3 legs. Don't go crazy because they hit it. They get fucked up so easily when you go so many legs. Obviously, people see those big returns. They're like, oh, this is going to be great. How many comments have you seen, bro? So-and-so blew my parlay. Oh my God, so-and-so. Okay, don't put them in your fucking parlay, you greedy bastard, you know? So AJ's instinct is correct. You know, you start going past 3 legs, you start getting into some risky territory.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Listen, people, we just brought a cult banger. Make sure you guys smash the likes. Make sure you guys subscribe. But it's not over for you guys. All right. The night is still young. Mike Finch is about to go live. He's about to drop his 5 most confident picks. I'm excited to see what they are. So you guys definitely got to check them out. I got it linked up in the live chat. All right. So give them a look. Check out the Finch Meister bringing the heat on a beautiful, at this point for me, it's Tuesday morning, but Monday late night for the Finch man over on the West Coast.
9:12. It's all good over here. Even my baby's still up. I just heard her. We're all good.
We're all good. Let's go. W to the people. W to the Finch. We hope you guys enjoyed. You'll see Finch man in a few minutes. You'll see me mañana. Okay. I'll be live tomorrow twice. And if there's news, I'll be reacting to it, man. I've been on point with the news videos, bro. So I'm going to keep on bringing it.
I don't expect anything less. Come on, dog. AJ's cranking content out every fucking day. Of course, what is the first thing I say to you? Yo, MVP did it with this fight, huh? He's like, oh, I already dropped the video. I'm like, yeah, of course he fucking did. You guys stick with MMA experts. AJ's dropping hella content. You guys know where to find me in a few minutes. At Mike Finch, literally youtube.com/Mike Finch. I'll be live with a show that AJ named himself the most confident, where I dropped my 5 most confident picks. We swept last week. Let's do it again.
Gunnar Simmons, thank you for closing the show out with $5. We appreciate you. Congrats, Father Finch, on the newborn. Appreciate you, boys.
There she is.
Hey,
there she is, my baby girl. Thank you, Gunnies. I appreciate that, man. That $2 I get off of that after YouTube and takes their cut, I'm going to give it right to baby. All right. That's a, you know what? I can't buy her food, bro. Did you know babies can't have water?
I didn't know that. No.
Luckily they told me that before I had you know what I mean?
Really?
I'm glad they slid that in there. Yeah. So I'm like, when does she get to eat a Happy Meal? It's like, not soon. Okay. Yeah. It's milk only for a long time. So, you know, we'll put it to good use. Thank you, Gunnies.
Let's go. W. Gunnar Simmons, W to the people. We'll talk to you soon. Good night, everybody. Go watch the Finch man, and peace out.